Morning, all. All right, so a little late getting started. Not feeling great, migraine and all that. But at any rate, let's go ahead and jump into the news of the day today. And I'm not wearing Columbus, but Columbus is on the board, so we'll talk about it. Well, we'll start with Calgary. So Calgary, of course, over the summer, there's been all the speculation about where veteran players on expiring contracts are going to go, namely Hanifin, Backlund, and Lindholm. What's interesting is it sounds like a summer off has given these players a chance to really think things over, and this is why when a player gets a microphone shoved in their face right after they lose, whether it's a team eliminated from the playoffs altogether, player knocked out of said playoffs once they're in, or just a miserable year, and you put a microphone in their face, hey, do you want to sign here again? I don't know. Maybe, we'll see. And of course, that kind of feeling, then the media will go, hey, this guy doesn't want to be here, which isn't necessarily the case. So, in the case of both Lindholm and Hanifin, who have been discussed a lot about whether or not they're going to stick around, it sounds like both of them are willing to. Lindholm saying he's willing to talk extension and stick around, and Craig Conroy saying Hanifin has made it clear he's willing to stick around as well. It doesn't mean they're going to be really long-term contracts, and I don't think they have to be. I think the obsession with the 8-year deal, the 6-year deals, you know what, you give them two. Give them 2-year deals and just, extend them for a couple of years. But at any rate, whatever the Flames end up deciding to do, at this point, it looks like they'll be sticking around at least into this regular season. The interesting part is Backlund, who, after the Flames missed the playoffs, sounded like the most likely to return and was quite positive during the summer, saying he's undecided. He hasn't really ruled anything out, which, of course, we can then go, well, he wants out, but that's not true. He's saying he hasn't ruled anything out, which would include an extension. So, for Calgary, if they get these guys signed and if they make it, smart money, basically, I think Lindholm can have a bounce back year. Hanifin's an excellent defenseman. And Backlund, I would think if he's willing to stick around, he could end up being the captain of the team. But at any rate, for Flames fans, I think that's good news. You guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. For New Jersey, they're rolling it back a little bit in net. Keith Kinkaid signs a 1-year deal worth $775,000 at the NHL level, $350,000 at the AHL level. I'm going to say this for Kinkaid. When he's been called up over the last few years by teams that have had him in their system, he's been pretty good. So I think Kinkaid has earned, a return to New Jersey, and he'll likely be the number 3 in that system. Maybe number 4 behind Nico Dawes, but I would think maybe number 3. At any rate, for the New Jersey Devils, it's depth in net, and as I've said, when he's been called up the last few years, he's been pretty good. So we'll see how things go for Kinkaid in his return to the New Jersey Devils. Boston continues teasing, so I'm just going to go ahead and say I have these jerseys. I have the home and away of this one, and it looks like this is what they're going to. So for the Centennial, they're revealing 3 jerseys, and that'll be taking place on Saturday. So they're going to reveal these 3 jerseys, and it's been highly speculated that home and away versions of these jerseys will be returning. There'll be a different shoulder patch, so this has gone away, apparently. That's been the rumor anyways, that they won't have the bear on the shoulder. I know, the bear, you gotta have the bear. But, and I remember as a kid thinking, that's a bear? But at any rate, they're going to bring in these new jerseys. They're going to have a new home and away for this year only, and a new third for this year only as well, and then they'll go back to their other ones. I've already seen calls for, hey, keep this, go back to these jerseys. I will say that perhaps the first year for Fanatics, which I believe is next year, maybe we see a third jersey version of this, and then they keep the other ones. I would not want to see a return necessarily to the 80s era jerseys. It wouldn't bother me at all. I have a lot of them, so it wouldn't really bother me at all. But while I like the look, I do like their current... Well, I can't say current because for the Centennial year, I don't think they're wearing them. But you guys know what I mean. The most recent design they've used, I still think is their best design. It kind of combines every era for the Boston Bruins. But we'll see what they come out with on Saturday, and we'll be surprised when it's this. It looks like there might be some gold in it, like the bright, shiny gold, because it's Centennial. It's the 100th year. So, by all means, make it sparkly. The NHL and the NHLPA, they are working on a scaled-down version of the World Cup. So, World Cup in 2025, but it looks like it's going to be scaled down, meaning a shorter tournament, and fitting into a more year standard all-star break kind of timeline. So it's not going to be the kind of tournament that I think we would like to see. It'll be a year before the Olympic tournament. So one thing it does do is it means we'll see what the Olympic teams could look like, get an idea for what those rosters could look like for Canada, for the US, Sweden, Finland, etc. And so that could be a lot of fun. But yeah, so we'll see what the plan is there. And the Olympic talks are ongoing. I know there's fans who say Olympics are nothing. I get it, but I think having just a run through of a World Cup makes some sense. And also, the NHL doesn't really make any money off the Olympics and going to the Olympics. That's part of the reason there's discussions ongoing, because I know that's been a complaint of theirs, that all of the Olympic footage, like the gold medal winning goal in 2010 in Vancouver, yeah, the rights to that are owned by the Olympics, not by the National Hockey League. So the NHL did not make any money off of that, and they're saying we should. We're sending our best players over. There should be some amount of money coming back to the National Hockey League, and we'll see how all that turns out in negotiations. So Elliot Friedman talking about the huge kerfuffle from yesterday, of course, with Mike Babcock. So apparently he's reached out to some players, and the family photos thing dates back to when Babcock was in Detroit. So he said, if anything was really heinous about any of this, we would have heard about it a long time ago. Agreed. He also said most players he spoke to were fine with it. They didn't take any offense. There were some who maybe thought it was weird or didn't like it. So there was that opinion as well. But that was a minority opinion, where, there were just a few who felt that way. He also said that he figures Bissonnette probably feels bad for mentioning Jenner by name. I would agree with that. And that a lot of players do talk to Biz, and he has no doubt that he has sources all over the NHL, which, yes, absolutely. But, yeah, so that closes the door on that for now. But he also said, and I'll agree with this, because of Mike Babcock and the reputation he's had coming in, he has to be better behaved than other coaches. He said perfection. I don't think perfection's what we're aiming for here, but does the standard, is the standard different with Babcock? Yes. Is he going to get the benefit of the doubt from people? Probably not. So we'll see what ends up happening from here, but at this point, that door's closed. And again, I will agree with Elliot on something else. If Columbus thought, well, it won't be a big deal, we'll hire him, and what could happen? This may very well tell them how quickly things can go viral and how quickly they may need to get out ahead of things. Because again, it could be something minor. We could see him behind the bench, reaming somebody out for a bad shift. And again, because it's Mike Babcock, it could end up being blown up a little bit more than it would for another coach. So, yeah, we'll see how things go. PWHL news. So this is something that has been asked and has finally been announced. That they are going to be live streaming the draft on cbc.ca. I don't know if it's going to be carried in the States on the NHL network. And I would think since it's on the CBC website and on the GEM app, that may very well not work in the US. So we'll see if the NHL network shows it. It's going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on Monday. And they're doing all 15 rounds, 90 players in all. So at the end of this, we'll have 18 players for each team in the PWHL. And then to round out the rest of the roster, there will be free agents left over after the 90 players have been drafted. So PWHL is rounding into shape, and we'll see how those teams are going to look as of Monday. And yeah, we'll have stuff to discuss then as well. I haven't decided. I may very well do a live stream that day during the PWHL draft. I haven't really decided, but if I do, I'll make sure you guys have a lot of warning. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.